Welcome back. This is still Breakfast Daily here on Citi TV. It's now time to discuss your health. Yes, it is the health segment here on the show, and of course, our subject matter for the day is cholesterol. Now, you may have heard so much or know so much about cholesterol, but it's time to get all the details about it. And let's, of course, debunk some myths as well about cholesterol. Dr. Kelvin Owusu, a wellness consultant, Violet's Medical Center, is here with us. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning, Charlie. Long time.
I'll be there. I only pass through as and when I'm needed. I'm like that number 5 who sits on the bench. But I don't pray for the regular 5 to get hit.
Very, very important.
Hey, but I trust you're well.
Very well, very well, very
Great
well.
stuff. Great stuff.
Dr.
Welcome to the
Kelvin?
show.
Yes.
How are you?
You too. It has been a while.
It has, hasn't it? Great to have you here.
Yes, yes. Good to be here. Good to be
Super.
here.
And today we are talking about something very
Oh, yes,
important,
yes.
something that can be a slow killer. Yeah, cholesterol. How serious is this?
I mean, it's it's one of those things that you think you know all about, but we don't know enough about it, and indeed, it doesn't show in our daily activities. Because I mean, if you consider the fact that hypertension is, should I say, a black man's disease,
Okay.
you know, the rate at which black men would succumb to hypertension is far, far higher than any other race out there. You know, and cholesterol is a major, emphasis on the major. You see how I stress on the
Yeah.
major?
Yeah.
Like it's a major cause or a major association to hypertension. You know, it tells you that we are not doing enough about it on our own. You see, because if you look at the kind of foods we are eating, you know, it tells us that we are not taking it seriously enough. You know, because it is literally responsible for almost all the strokes and the heart attacks and the kidney issues that you are going to develop, especially as a hypertensive. And as you mentioned, it's a silent slow killer. It's actually true.
Yeah.
There are no symptoms. You know, so you cannot say that because I feel this or I feel that my cholesterol is up, let me go and check. No, there's nothing of that sort. You know.
Is it a lifestyle issue? Can it be, genetic? What really is it?
Everything you have said is right. I
Okay.
mean, the reality is that as we are sitting here right now, our body is producing its own cholesterol. You see, cholesterol is a very, very useful component in some of the hormones that our body produces naturally. You know, which means that without cholesterol, we will not have a normal functioning, body. You see, because some hormones will be lacking, some other protein that cholesterol contributes to will be lacking. So the issue is when the cholesterol level goes out of hand, or it becomes too much. I'm sure you've heard about good cholesterol and bad
Yeah.
cholesterol. Now, there's the low density lipoprotein, that is what we call the bad cholesterol, and then there's the high density lipoprotein, which is the good cholesterol.
Okay.
Now, the lipoprotein, so cholesterol is a kind of fat. Fats cannot move through the blood normally, so they need a vehicle, and that vehicle is the LDL, that's the low density, or the HDL. Now, depending on which of these vehicles are carrying the cholesterol, then you can have the negative effect of cholesterol.
Okay.
Even though, in fact, yes, there is even a role for that LDL. I mentioned the hormones among other things, and also in the nervous system as well. But when there's too much of it, then it starts being deposited in the wrong places.
Okay.
You know, so the LDL will carry excess cholesterol and deposit them in the blood vessels, especially the arteries. So you may have heard the condition called atherosclerosis,
Okay.
which is a hardening, a progressive hardening of the arteries and blood vessels generally. Now, the blood vessels are, typically one of the best examples. If you check this part of your arm, there's actually an artery here. If you just put your hand on, you can actually feel pulsation.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's an artery. Now just rub the hand on that artery, and you see that it literally disappears. That's how soft it is. You know, so it's actually elastic. So when the heart
Okay.
pumps, it's supposed to relax and accommodate the pressure from the heart. Now, when these arteries now begin to harden because of the cholesterol deposit, it's not able to accommodate, that expansion relaxation feature is lost. So when the heart pumps, the full pressure is being transmitted through the blood vessels, through the arteries, and that is pretty much what hypertension is. When I now check your blood pressure, I'm noticing the full extent of the the pressure from the heart, which should not be the case. You see, the blood vessels should be able to open up and accommodate the pressure coming in so that it kind of equalizes that pressure. Okay. When there's that build-up, which is called plaque, you may have heard about plaque as well, then you begin to get challenges with your blood pressure, and if the plaque, as the plaque continues to grow, as is being shown, as the plaque continues to grow, get bigger and bigger, then you now begin to have challenges with the blood flow itself. Okay. So the blood is not enough blood is now going beyond the plaque, so the plaque is pretty much occluding or closing up the blood vessel. So now when this phenomenon occurs in your heart, then the cells that are beyond the occlusion begin to complain. Okay. I'm not getting food, I'm not getting oxygen. Yeah. Now your body interprets that as pain. So that's pain from the heart is now then diagnosed as heart attack. You see the issue. Okay. So now before you get to that heart attack, there are stages. So you may have heard about angina. You see, so angina is the heart telling you that, look, I'm struggling to get oxygen. Okay. So you need to do something about this buildup of plaque in my blood vessels. If you fail to do anything about it, then angina will progress to become now heart attack, where there's complete cessation of blood flow beyond the point of obstruction, and then that part of the heart begins to die.
So the challenge is there aren't any symptoms.
No.
So really, what do we do?
Well, that's the thing. That's why you see that's where I come in, and that's actually what the campaign we've been on for a while, to promote wellness checks and healthy living in general. You see, because as a person, I mean, you own cars. Don't you go for a car check every at least 3 to 6 months? You go and do some service, and you go and change oil. But how come the thing that you can easily replace, I mean, easily because, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's much easier to replace a car than to replace a heart or a human being.
Even if you lose it, the structure, there are other means, you can even walk.
Exactly. Yeah. So the thing that is easily replaceable, we take such good care of it. Let somebody bang into the back of your car early morning, you get down and go and fight blows.
No, your heart just skips,
I'm telling you, but we don't apply the same principle to our own health. So for a lot of people watching us today, they have never gone to hospital and said, I'm coming just for a routine checkup. Easy. And if you don't do these routine checkups, we will not be able to pick up the cholesterol going up. And so for most people, the first time you hear or you detect cholesterol issue is when they've come to you with blood pressure through the roof. Or they've come to you with heart attack or even a stroke, because the same thing that happens in the heart can happen in the brain as well, and then you have a stroke. It can happen in the kidneys. You have a kidney failure, or we call it kidney attack, name it whatever, it can happen in the kidney. It can also happen in the legs as well. So there are people, when they walk a short distance, their legs with significant pain, it's called intermittent claudication. All this is because of plaque buildup, and it's because of cholesterol. So if you fail to check these things, the first time we notice it would be when we can't do anything about it, or now you need expensive medication to try and reverse it. Whereas if you have been checking routinely, you could have incorporated the lifestyle changes. You see, so that's where the lifestyle aspect also comes in, because yes, your lifestyle plays a role. Because I did mention earlier that your body produces cholesterol as you're sitting down. From the food you're eating, the building blocks are picked up and it produces. But now you are eating foods that are very rich in cholesterol. Typically, all forms of red meat, or in fact, animal products contain cholesterol. So that's the clear distinction. Animal products contain cholesterol. Non-animal products or plant products do not contain cholesterol. Okay. So all the adverts about vegetable oil and being cholesterol-free, I mean, it's just marketing. They don't have cholesterol to begin with. So once it's vegetable, once the oil is from a plant source, there's no cholesterol in it. So it's just marketing.
So these days I'm very particular. So they say, I should have even thought about it. That you can't use certain oils, but I feel like, okay, let me not use olive oil. Maybe it's healthier, but olive oil is also vegetable.
I mean, the different oils do have some benefits if you compare to each other, but not when it comes to cholesterol. No plant source has cholesterol per se.
But is it possible, is it possible that, so for instance, if at a point you feel maybe you have regular headaches, maybe your body itches, maybe this, it means that your cholesterol is very high. Can you maybe identify one or two just to let you know that at this point you are almost dying?
I don't know if you've had this conversation that the cholesterol is like the weather forecaster. So it predicts
Exactly.
the disease you are
Yeah.
going to get.
So I mean, what you are saying is true. But as for you, there's no hope for you. Because like there's no indication.
Really?
There's nothing that you would see to tell you that there's something going on.
But
As-
I heard
as-
that
as a
if you
medic-
have high cholesterol, your body itches.
Not exactly. You know, but
Okay.
as a medic, there might be some signs that I can pick up. You know, let's say if you come in for something else and I pick up certain signs, there are various things. You can even see some ring in the eye, and I'm like, okay, this person might have a lot of fat somewhere.
Okay.
Or maybe we're doing an examination and then I discover that your liver is a bit enlarged. Could it be fatty liver because you have too much fat in your body? You know, but even then, you as a patient may not notice any of those things.
Okay.
You see, so it's better. The only way to check is to draw blood and then see what's happening. But when you talk about being a predictor, that is true, and this is why you are supposed to do the regular health checks, because if your cholesterol begins to go up, like I said, it's going to show in the plaque buildup in your blood vessels. You know, so if we catch it early before the plaque buildup begins to increase your blood pressure, you know, it helps us to keep these things under control. Because, like you see, oftentimes people wait, and I had a similar experience just the past week. Patient comes in, and at the point you are seeing me, your blood pressure is 165 over 101. And at that point, you are telling me that you want to go and do lifestyle modification. No, it's too late for lifestyle modification at that particular point. You needed to have done the lifestyle modification when your BP was 135.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Right now, you have crossed the threshold. We need to put your medication. But that's the thing. Most people at that point, when I want to argue and say, I want to go and change my diet, yes, by all means, do all of those things. But it now becomes secondary to the primary treatment. We need to put your medication to bring it down, whilst the lifestyle modification will take their time and reflect. It's because lifestyle will take 6 months to 1 year before they start showing up in your body. So the best time to have started it was way back in the day, you see. So your diet, you need to manage your diet, cut down on red meat, you know, in terms of volume and frequency, you need to cut down, you know, but most importantly, we need to increase our physical activity levels. You see, because the way the body, I think it's an evolutionary mechanism. The way the body is set up, it does not waste resources. And I've said this several times. If you give the body food 24/7, the body will accommodate that food. Because the body is wired in such a way that it's preparing for a day when there will be no food.
Okay. And
So it will store the excess. And the store of excess food is fat. So give the body food 24/7, you will eat. And the body, it won't come out. It will store the excess food as fat. And once there's a lot of fat already in your food, which is what happens when you eat red meat, saturated fat, you are giving the building blocks for the body to produce and store all these fats as either normal fat or cholesterol.
Yeah.
okay.
And so you will have the effect.
Now we have to cut down on red meat. What
Especially.
else?
So-
And exercise more.
Yes, red meat, cut down red meat, exercise more, eat more fiber, you know, and
Okay.
fiber is found in fruits. So apart from the fruits providing the fiber, you're also going to get a lot of micronutrients, which is very, very important because the antioxidants will help detoxify. Now, there are a lot of toxins in the atmosphere, even the food you're eating. So you need vegetables and fruits to counter all those things, you know, very important. So, I mean, these three, you can't go wrong. Cut down red meat, increase physical activity, increase fiber in your diet. Very, very important. Some people may require medication to bring down their cholesterol, but it's not everybody. You know, most people can regulate their cholesterol by the lifestyle changes I've just gone. Those three things. But when you get to the point where you need medication, you need to be on those medications, you know. And some people in particular will require medication. So for instance, if you are already hypertensive or diabetic, you may require medication to prevent, should I say, the development of complications, because already your BP is high.
Yeah.
And then you're also building up the plaque. So the two combination might not be, like we can't wait and see. We need to bring it down as quickly as possible to prevent heart attacks and strokes and all those things, you know. Women have a predisposition to cholesterol. So, I mean, if you're a female, you need to pay particular attention as well. You know, so.
Everything is females. Everything is women. Oh gosh.
No, but you see, men, I started by attacking the men, you see, because the men, you see, if you're a man and you're not taking care of your blood pressure, I mean, I don't know what you're expecting, you see, because men typically would drink a lot more alcohol than women. Alcohol itself is an independent risk factor for hypertension. So that's that. So if you're a man, you're already at risk of hypertension, and because you're not drinking alcohol, your risk is increased more. Smoking, which is also more common in men. Smoking is an independent cause of blood vessel damage. And once the blood vessel becomes damaged, the plaque builds faster. So if you are smoking, that's another lifestyle you want to cut down. You see, so alcohol and smoking cut down to reduce the risk. So when you're able to do all these lifestyle changes, then you're on a path to improving your health. But I cannot emphasize enough the need to go for routine, regular checkup. You know, money. Yes, I mean it's one of the limitations. But the truth of the matter is that if you wait for the illness to start, you lose on two different levels. One, you can't go to work. And then two, you have to spend the money that you don't have to now try and get cured. But if you get ahead of the issue and you get screened regularly or routinely, you sort of manage your risk better. You see, because let's say physical activity. I mean, it's not easy to be physically active and ameboa. It's not easy. But now, if you know that I have a risk, and so I need to be physically active, like it becomes an extra level of motivation, so that in spite of the fact that it's difficult to be physically active, now I have a reason to, and by doing that, you prevent the major issues from starting. Because if you just wake up and say today I'm going to jog, there's like the motivation is not there. You see, so you need something to prompt you that no, you have to. If you check your BP today and it's 140. That's motivation. No, look, I'm 30. Why is my BP 140? I need to get that BP down. And one way of doing that is by exercising and watching what I'm eating. Because lots of people are dying needlessly from this hypertension, cholesterol, diabetes triad.
Is the eggs thing true?
Eggs, you see, eggs are one of those things that we can't seem to decide where they fit. But I think that to be honest, the general benefits of egg sort of outweigh the cholesterol arguments. You see, so
even with the yolk?
Yes, even with the yolk.
So we should be eating the egg.
Why
and the
not?
yolk. Okay.
It depends. You see, but it comes down to the what exactly do you have in your diet. I mean, if you go and buy wache, and in that wache you have wele, you have fish, you have egg, you have meat. I mean,
sausage.
You see,
The egg, no, some are fried, some are boiled.
exactly. That's an overkill. But if you went to buy your wache and then there's just one egg sitting in there, I mean, that will not give you the cholesterol that's going to end your life.
Because these days I've been taking my eggs, but I want to take the yolk out because I'm just depriving myself of pleasure.
So I mean, you have to look at the thing holistically. So when you take the yolk out, is the yolk being replaced by some other red meat hiding somewhere?
Oh, no, just the white.
Then why are you worrying to take out the yolk?
As it's in
You see.
Doc, how do we find you to get more info?
Well, I'm active on social media, Kelvin Osu MD, and you can also follow our clinic page as well, Wireless Medical, on all channels.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Right. So this is still Breakfast Daily. We'll be right back.